Hello Internet, I hope you're doing well. I'm White Rabbit, and welcome back to Aragami. So at this point, I've already played through the game, but recently I figured out something that I've been trying to figure out for quite a while. So, in this video, I'm going to be doing a bit of a challenge. I'm going to be playing through the entirety of the game, kind of cutting up and speeding through all the chapters in this video, and I'm going to be playing through, getting all the Yurei medals, so going stealth again, and this time, I'm not going to be using any of the upgrades. I have been kind of obsessed with the idea of trying to make this for a very long time, and I was stuck for quite a while on one part, and I figured out something, so fuck it, I want to make this video. And it should be interesting. I'm really excited, so I'm just gonna hop into it. Once again, to reiterate, hard difficulty, going for stealth, not nearly as restricted as last time, but I will be going to try to get the Yurei medals, like I said, and I'm not going to be doing any upgrades. Restarts, I don't care, anything like that, whatever, but, you know. And that's about it, so I'm going to just jump right in. Okay, Chapter 1 is fairly straightforward, not much really has to be said. A lot of it's just like running through the motions, making sure that you're not caught. Pretty easy, not much to say. It's the tutorial. The only noteworthy thing really in this chapter is this one Kaiho. He's not really a problem, but if you fuck up the timing, he can catch you. I just blink past him as he's turning around and keep going. So there is actually one skill that I do need to buy. The basic shadow creation, I do need to purchase it. It's impossible to proceed without it. As I'm trying to show here, there's literally no shadows that I can jump through. So I do have to do that. And even if I just pick up the scroll and don't buy it, there's still nothing that I can do. So I absolutely have to purchase the shadow creation, but I don't have to use it. So what I will end up doing is going into my keybinds. There I'm using my left click to create a shadow. Jumping into my controls. There it is. I changed that to the asterisk on the numpad right there, and it can't be heard, but I do also attempt to click again here, and no shadows are created. I keep this unbound for the rest of the playthrough, so no shadows will be created, and we can continue on. Making my way into the temple is pretty easy, fairly straightforward. I just make sure to keep track of the guards' locations, and I count myself lucky that I've memorized the way they travel through my hundreds of hours of playing through the game. Finding Kurosu and escaping is easy. I just follow the pillars on the ceiling, like, you really can't fuck it up. This parkour is fairly simple. All I've got to do is just get that little shadow over there, and I am good. Lastly is this cliffside section. I find that it's more difficult to get the actual teleports up to the next level than it is to avoid the guards. I find myself falling down once or twice, but once I've gotten through this, I've made my way through Chapter 2. So in this chapter, I'm tasked to find a bell and get through the area. But I should probably make it clear that I have no intention on using it. The goal that I had when I started this challenge was to kind of be able to do the entire playthrough of the game basically as I am right out the gate at level 1. So the bell's not going to be involved. Another thing is, in my playthrough of the game, two things are kind of different from right now versus then. One thing is that I've learned a fair bit since I've played through on my channel the first time. Another thing is, since I was so concerned with being detected, I held back on a lot of the tricks that I knew, or a lot of things that I could have done, I should say, for fear of being detected, where here I'm not so restricted. Fun fact, in this area, you can drop down right here and the guard doesn't notice you. And for me to exit, I simply jump up onto this torii and drop down behind this last guard. Okay, I'm into Chapter 4. There really isn't that much to say for Chapter 4. A lot of it's just running through the motions. I start by making a slight mistake here, having the archer question me. It's a good thing that my rules aren't as strict as the previous series. In this section, I have to disable 2 light barriers. In this time, I'm going to be disabling the one on the ground before the one in the little fucking tree fort thing. I don't fucking know, man. This section here makes it completely impossible to do what I've called a complete stealth run with no upgrades. I accidentally alerted that guard there, but that was just a mistake. But in order to break this orb, not that one, this guard here will be alerted no matter what since I'm stuck in the animation. But, regardless, I still managed to break the orb and get to the next one. Here I just play the waiting game for the Kaiho archer to return back to the other tree fort, which is what I'm calling it now. And when he does, I begin to break the orb. Now I just follow him and make my way out of this section. Unfortunately here I did not get lucky with the guards' patrol routes. This archer right there needs to be down at the end of the bridge. Not only that, but the Kaiho foot soldier down below should really not be that close. So I wait for them to make their move. Wonderful. I teleport down. And I proceed up to that crank to lower the drawbridge. With that, I've done all that I need to here, and I can make my way out to the next chapter. Okay. Chapter 5, The Great Lake. Mechanically, this, I would say, was the hardest chapter in the entire fucking game to try and get through. The main reason why, and I'm doing a little bit of a rant here, because, fuck, this is what made it take forever to fucking figure this out. I genuinely thought this was impossible for a while. There are 2 sections in the Great Lake that have no darkness that you can see or reasonably teleport to get across places. So, I assumed for the longest time that I needed shadow creation. Everything else that would have been fine, no skills, no fucking ledge kills, whatever the fuck. But shadow creation seemed to be required until at one point I figured out a very, very niche spot in each area that I could work with. You'll see that in a few seconds, or a few minutes. But, this chapter, this one was rough. Here I end up making a pretty stupid mistake. I didn't check to see where this Kaiho guard was. And if he was any closer, he would have likely spotted me completely, with giving me no time to react. Honestly, I was just lucky there. Now, this part. This one little jump took months of time to figure out. There is no point at the distance that I'm at where I can teleport to. Not even that little rail shadow. That doesn't count. I can't do it. There's absolutely nothing. But getting real close and almost clipping into the water, there's one small area where I can teleport to and progress. I'm going to hurry through most of this cave. I just have to go in, break the light barrier there, and leave. So, really not much to say about this part. Now coming up to the main talisman for this chapter, I just need to climb onto this structure and grab it. And shortly after this, the boats. This, was not exactly easy to figure out. Quick teleport onto the first boat, that's fine. To the second boat, easy, nothing wrong with it. The fucking last part, getting onto that dock. There is no shadow to teleport to except for the outside wall. This drove me fucking mad. But I figured out a way to do it. There's not even a lip that you can really, stand on there. You can't, hover, you'll just fall. As shown just there. I forgot that I do spawn over there, so I'll just teleport back to show exactly how I did it. Because you can do this in succession without falling into the water. All you have to do is teleport as far to the top as you can, and immediately hit W and D on the keyboard, and move your mouse to try and navigate yourself back. It's real fucking weird, but it works. So, in this section is going to be the first time that I actually use the tactic of baiting one of the guards. So I'm just going to show him a bit of my model to try and have him notice me, because if not, he'd hear me break that. I can get him far enough away doing this, however. I can lure him away and break the light orb in peace. The next area is fairly simple. I'm just returning back to the entrance now. I teleport through the shadows up to this point, and then I find a shadow on the ceiling. Wait, there you go. On the ceiling, and I teleport down. Finally, teleport onto the boat. I mean, teleport into the water, of course. Big brain. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Okay, teleport onto the boat to avoid this Kaiho. And then back onto the dock behind him and go to that orb. Once I break this orb, it's all just a matter of retracing my steps. Back to the entrance. Okay, the Mausoleum, Chapter 6. Honestly, in this challenge it wasn't that bad. So I'm going to kind of be rushing through it, since this is a pretty long chapter. A lot of these parts are really easy. Breaking in through the front is trivial. I can avoid all these guards. I'm able to rush through here fairly quickly. I'm not as intimidated at this point, so I can just run through. Alright, orb number 1, the Earth Orb. Going through the area, I immediately make a fairly awful mistake. One of the guards on the top floor, I spot their shadow on the wall, and I assume that it's the guard that I'm trying to avoid right next to me. But unfortunately, I was wrong, but I was able to quickly teleport just based on reaction time and avoid him entirely. Now that I've shattered both orbs, I just need to retrace my steps and move on. Next up, the Water Orb. I just have to enter this little chamber and break this barrier, then move on to the center room, the fountain, break that barrier, and return from where I came. Next up is the Fire Orb. In here, I teleport over to the fire door. I bait those guards and teleport behind them to break this orb. Now upstairs, I can basically do the same thing as I would do in a normal run. I break this orb. One Kaiho guard seems to notice me, but that's alright. I just have to go up these stairs a little bit and teleport into the shadow at the edge of that window. Finally, the Wind Orb. I wait here for both this foot soldier to be back in the middle chamber and for that archer to be pointing away from the orb. Now, that Kaiho right up on that pillar needs to be facing away from the center. He's away, I teleport up, and I break the orb. Lastly is getting into the main room. With the two guards there, that kind of can be difficult, but using that building over there, it should be fine. I've got my last talisman, and we've got this fun little parkour thing to do. This really isn't too difficult, though. And now, that's the mausoleum down. But before we continue, there is one last thing that I have to do. That's better. Okay, Chapter 7. I make sure to show the loading screen to show that I'm still playing at hard difficulty. This chapter is not exactly difficult to get through. It's pretty straightforward. I would say the most trouble that I've had was here at the beginning. To get through this gate, I just have to teleport onto the rock so that the soldier right there doesn't notice me. Now I have 2 light barriers to break in this section. There's 1 orb down. Now I need to wait for this Kaiho to be turning away. Now I just break the second orb, and I can move on to the last section. In this section I have 2 more light barriers to break before I can proceed. I wait for this man to be not so close to my orb. Now I just backtrack to the beginning to get across to the second one. There's orb number 2. Now all I have to do is get out. I do get noticed here, but I hit him with the old hiding in the tree technique. It's a good technique. It's fucking OP. They have absolutely no chance, and I'm out. On to chapter 8. This chapter consists of a few orbs to break, and then I just pass through the area. Getting this orb in the center of the square is pretty easy. Just make sure that there are no guards directly facing me through this window, and break the orb. Here I need to bait this guard, because if I break the orb right behind him, he'll immediately notice me for sure. but now with all the orbs gone, I can just leave. But noticing the archer right here starting to head back, I figure that it's probably best if I just take the stairs. I just need to wait for this Kaiho foot soldier to be turned around. Now I just need to sneak past the rest of these guards, and I'll be good. Okay, Chapter 9. Hikaru. Like usual, this chapter's interesting. Starting off, I break the first orb. At this point, I'm now desperately looking to try and get a position on Hikaru. I need to know where he is. Okay. I didn't want him sneaking up on me and detecting me. I try to teleport up here for a ledge drop, but that foot soldier does disrupt me. Instead, I choose to go over by this sign and try to get a stab in the back. Of course, as I'm doing so, something over there breaks and alerts the guards to where I'm not, I guess. Once I stab Hikaru in the back, I make sure to look towards the orb that I'm trying to get to, so it'll teleport me closer. Now that the orb is broken, I wait up here for Hikaru to get close enough so I can do an aerial kill. Now that the final orb is broken, I just need to hit him one more time. Into Chapter 10, the Military District. This chapter I found surprisingly really easy. There wasn't really that much of a challenge in it. Here I remember that I don't have the extra recharge speed, and I really wish I did. In this area, I just need to wait for the right timing and then just hop over the wall. Inside this tower, there's an orb that I need to break. Not that one. There's one up top. I get a little bit confused here. And, yep, there we go. Now, for the last section, what's my tactic for getting past all these guards? Teleport up and walk. Very nice. Now I just need to wait for this guard to get past that door, and then I will be done. Into the last talisman. We're finally almost to the end. The first area is pretty normal. I just have to go in, break the orb, and leave. I'll be using my usual trick of getting onto the roof of this shed to progress. With no Banmoku at my disposal, this is a bit more challenging and luck-based. I debate going straight for the gate, but I decide to take a bit of a longer route. To get through this section, I just need to pay attention to the positioning of the Kaiho archers and the foot soldiers on the roofs. This Kaiho archer almost spots me, so I need to wait. Now that he's done, I can quickly teleport here, and I tuck myself as far into this corner as I can. This guard can possibly see you if you're not too far tucked in, so be wary of that. Now just to drop the drawbridge. And just quickly descend. Now to get this orb, I need to bait the Kaiho to the left. Once he notices me, I make sure that I'm hidden again and teleport forward. Now I can just hop in here and break this. And scale the tower. And now the last talisman is mine. Next up, Ascension. Okay, into Ascension. Ascension, I've found to never be easy. It's always a struggle in one way or another. But this time, it's not been that bad. Making through the area, it wasn't easy, having to rely on other shadows to jump to. But Sora being able to notice me was a bit of a nice break. This section, pretty easy. All I have to do is wait for that one Kaiho to proceed down to the beginning. One very important part to Ascension at this point in this challenge is timing. In this final section, I really wish that I could use either Shadow Creation or Shadow Recovery. This was not fun. I start by going up the right side this time. Looking back, I think that this is a genuine mistake of mine. I should have went to the left. I make sure to teleport to this spot instead of walking after I wait out the lightning. I teleport to the bridge as quick as I can and fucking bolt it. Up on these top levels, it's easy. I can relax and plan a bit. Getting back down from here is going to be hell. But I have an idea. And with this orb down, I proceed back to the beginning. Around the Kaiho Archer at the bottom of the bridge, there's a shadow where I can kind of tuck in behind him if his light isn't right there, and I can use that spot to quickly teleport behind the wall. Now I have to teleport back. I use the Tori and I drop down on the other side. Now, onto the next side. I need to constantly be aware of the fact that lightning could strike at any second. Finally, I strike the last orb. And with one last teleport up, I've completed Ascension. Alright, into the final boss. This boss fight is, for a good amount, in Yamako's control. A lot of it is me waiting and watching her movements to make sure where she ends up pausing. I get lucky here, where she gets into an easy spot for me to strike her. This spot's a bit harder to get to, but it's nice in that she won't see me coming. I really do wish that I had the ability to recover my shadows, though. Well, faster, I mean. This was surprisingly fast, but she sits to watch me for a third time, and once again, I hit her. Into the last stage. I have to be careful and hide behind structures to not get hit by her attack. I pause one more time just to make sure I don't die. And then, with one last strike, I've completed my challenge. Finally got my ghost skin again. Oh, well, that was fun. That was a challenge I was really excited to do. I never thought for the longest time that I'd be able to do it. But, yeah, it was pretty cool. Thank you so much for watching this and making it to the end. It was a lot of work to do this. Fuck. If you did enjoy this, give the video a like, sub if you wish. If you fucking want to, it would mean so much. This was weeks of work. And also the whole voiceover thing, like narrating my actions was really weird. I'm not used to it, and it was really tiring. I spent like 5 times as long on this as anything else. Not used to it, man. But, yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. Genuinely. And by the way, just in case you were curious, these were the ranks that I got throughout my chapters. Just if you wanted to know. Thank you so much. Bye.